So here's an opinion for you. I'm going to buy Shadow of War. Microtransactions, drama, all that shit be damned. I'm going to buy Shadow of War, and I'm probably going to like it. I'm probably going to like it a lot. And I feel that not buying the game in general, just because of all the controversy going around, and the microtransactions and all that stuff, is one, doing you a disservice as a gamer, and two, doing the developer and the people who worked hard on the game, the programs and the artists, a disservice as well. I know probably the most effective way to stop microtransactions from being a thing, especially in games like Shadow of War and other single-player games, is to vote with your wallet and to not buy it. But let's be realistic for a second. This likely, very likely, will not happen. A lot of people are going to be buying this game, and unfortunately a lot of people are likely going to be buying microtransactions as well. I fully advocate for the idea that, hey, you should not be buying microtransactions in this game or any other game like Destiny 2, like this, in any AAA game that costs $60 beforehand. No, do not spend any money on those microtransactions. But that's the best you can do, is just to tell people not to do it. But unfortunately, and there's a lot of buts, they're going to do it anyway. So at that point, because of the inevitability of everyone buying the game and probably some people buying microtransactions anyway, you might as well buy the game yourself, or at least find a way to experience the good parts of the game without taking part of the things that you don't enjoy or you don't agree with. That's the best anyone can do at this point. I just don't agree with the notion that boycotting the game or not buying the game in general is going to be productive or great or even good in any way. It's not going to do anything. You would have to have 100,000 plus, 200,000, 500,000, or even 1 million people all follow suit, all not play the game, who were originally going to play the game. So the company, I'm sure, the publisher and developers, have a number in their mind as to how many copies of this game they are going to sell. And unless that number sharply deviates from what they are expecting, there aren't going to be any changes, there aren't going to be any insight into what might have caused these number dips. And maybe it wouldn't take that 1 million or 500,000 people. Maybe it would only take 100,000 or 50,000. But I still think, one, that's unlikely, and two, that's still probably not going to happen. Even if their target number for day one microtransaction purchases are something like 100,000, I bet you there's probably only going to be like maybe 1,000 or a couple thousand people at most who aren't going to be buying microtransactions out of that whole number. So they'll still see something like 97,000 or 95,000 people make those purchases on day one. It's futile. Buy the game. Enjoy it. That's what I'm going to do. The game is likely going to be awesome. I don't like that they took a system that probably would have been completely fine on its own as a part of the game without mixing it with microtransactions. But at the same time, it doesn't look like it will be too hard to obtain those items just by playing without spending any money. I also believe that you should really only buy the base game itself and don't pre-order it either. You don't need those bonuses, you don't need the extra units from the silver and gold editions, or really any of that crap. It's heavily rumored right now that there is a very good chance that those units and things you get from those special editions are one-time use only. And if you try to start a new game, they're not going to be there for you to use. If you go online and they die, then they stay dead. Really not worth the extra $30, $40 in my book if that's the case. But here's my point as a whole. You can still make a point to the developers and to the publisher that, hey, the slimy things that you're doing with these microtransactions and bonuses that are one-time use are scummy as all hell. And you can still buy the game and enjoy all of the work and all of the passion that everybody involved in creating that game put into it. And you can still make your point just by not participating in those slimy, underhanded tactics to nickel and dime you. And that's pretty much all that can be done there. You can also be vocal about it though, spread your opinion around, leave comments on social media, or even just to your friends. Start enforcing the ideology that these scummy, shady microtransactions and almost mobile-esque ways to buy things in the game with real money instead of with in-game currency or just by playing is a bad thing. And then we can only hope that over time that idea catches on more than what we see now, which is the opposite, sadly. But don't delude yourself into thinking that your self-sacrifice of not purchasing the game that you would likely enjoy will have any sort of positive outcome, because it very likely won't. And you as a person, as an individual, deserve to enjoy these new experiences and to enjoy these new games without feeling too bad about it. And you're not a hypocrite for wanting to play the game but also not wanting to support the shady practices. Not if you're only buying the base game and you're not pre-ordering and you're not spending money on the microtransactions. Then I'd say you're just buying the game for the game, and that shady junk has nothing to do with what you're doing. And that's my own personal perspective on this matter with Shadow of War and other games like Destiny 2, or really any other franchise that's starting to do the shady crap like this. But that's all just my opinion, and I'd like to hear yours, so let me know in the comments down below what you think. If you enjoyed the video, then you know what buttons to press to make me as a YouTuber happy. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more content like this, for more content like Shadow of War, more previews, and more reviews.